Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. This is now our third chapter in the story of Grok and the Warriors of Time, or the Warriors Out of Time. So, without any further wait, this is Warriors Out of Time, the Sound of History.
Warriors Out of Time, the Sound of History. The Warriors of Time had spent the day exploring, learning, and watching the modern world unfold before them. But as the sun dipped below the Tokyo skyline, the city prepared for something greater. A massive open-air stage had been constructed in a park near the temple. Surrounding it were enormous projection screens, ready to display a visual journey through time itself. A symphony orchestra stood alongside rock bands and traditional musicians, their instruments tuned and ready. Thousands of people had gathered, citizens, historians, musicians, scientists, eager to witness the night's performance. And at the center of it all sat Grok and his warriors, given seats of honor. They did not know what to expect. The music of the ages. The concert began with the soft, haunting hum of an ancient flute, played by a musician dressed in the robes of a Heian-era court performer. The screens lit up, displaying images of the first civilizations: Sumer, Egypt, the Indus Valley, scenes of farmers tending fields, of builders raising mighty temples, of warriors carving empires from dust. A Persian warrior poet, upon seeing the great walls of Persepolis restored in projected light, covered her mouth in quiet reverence. Then the music shifted. The deep, resonant thrum of a Chinese guqin filled the air, its melodies weaving through the images of dynasties rising and falling. The Han general straightened his back, his eyes glistening as he saw the glory of his people restored in light and sound. From the steppes of Mongolia came the deep, guttural chants of throat singers, paired with pounding war drums. The screen filled with images of mounted hordes charging across vast plains, their banners flapping wildly in the wind. The Mongol archer clenched his fists, his heart swelling with a pride he had long forgotten. Then came the Romans. A legionnaire's march, perfectly synchronized with the booming sound of brass horns and pounding timpani drums, filled the air as the screen showed legions assembling, marching in perfect unison, conquering lands far and wide. The Roman warrior sat still, his jaw tightening, his soul stirred by the sight of his empire at its height. The Viking berserker let out a deep, rumbling laugh as the booming sound of war horns echoed through the speakers, followed by the raw, unrelenting strumming of a Nordic lyre. The images showed longships cutting through icy waters, axes clashing against shields, gods and men waging battle against fate itself. And so it continued, era after era, civilization after civilization. Japanese taiko drums roared as samurai clashed beneath banners of honor. The mournful wail of bagpipes filled the night as Scottish warriors charged into battle. The deep, rhythmic chants of Zulu warriors sent shivers down the spine of all who heard them. For some, the images were a reminder of home. For others, they were a revelation, showing them things they never could have imagined. Then, the music changed. The sound of the future. The orchestra fell silent. A single electric guitar rang out in the night, its distorted chords cutting through the air like a blade. The screens flickered, shifting from images of warriors to something new: the Industrial Revolution. Factories rising, machines churning, soldiers marching into the Great War. Black and white images of trenches, of gas masks, of men running into fire and smoke. The pounding drums grew heavier. The string section swelled into something almost tragic. A Spartan warrior, who had never once feared battle, clenched his fists as he saw men fighting in mud, faceless and broken. The warriors watched, spellbound, as history continued. The Second World War, the rise of global powers, planes soaring through the sky, the creation of machines that could kill from across the world. And then the screen flashed white. A single, deafening, distorted guitar riff echoed into the night. The screen flickered. An image appeared, one that no warrior could comprehend. A mushroom cloud. The atomic bomb. For the first time, the warriors saw the true horror of modern war. The sound of heavy metal roared, raw and chaotic, as the footage played. Cities turned to ash, people turned to shadows. The sound of screaming guitars and relentless drums filled the air, as if the earth itself was crying out in rage. Many warriors gasped. Some turned their faces away. A few wept. Grok did not turn away. The elder champion, the old father of war, the first warrior of humankind, he watched. His breath became ragged. His chest rose and fell. The music grew louder, heavier, relentless. The images blurred into one another. Wars, revolutions, destruction, rebuilding, hope, despair, progress, regression. Grok's hands trembled. His mind, vast and old, understood what he was seeing. This was his legacy. War. It had begun with him in the time of fire and stone. It had shaped nations, toppled empires, forged heroes, created monsters. It had built civilizations and reduced them to dust. And now he was watching it unfold in full. The music reached its peak, an earth shattering crescendo of sound and fury. And in that moment, Grok, mighty Grok, unbreakable Grok, let out a sound that shook the earth. A scream. A scream of war. A scream of fury. A scream of utter absolute acceptance. For he was the elder champion. He was the old father. He was the inventor of war and veteran of the first battle. And he was a man watching an impossible history unfold before his fragile eyes. The final chord rang out. The screen went black. Silence. Then, applause. It started as a scattered sound, hesitant at first, but then it grew, swelling into a thunderous ovation. The warriors, the historians, the musicians, the citizens of Tokyo, everyone rose to their feet, clapping, cheering, weeping. The Japanese prime minister stepped onto the stage, dressed in formal attire, and raised his hands to quiet the crowd. When silence finally fell, he turned to Grok and his warriors, bowing deeply. "We honor you," he said, his voice steady and filled with respect. "Not just as warriors, but as history itself. You are the foundation of every civilization, the ones who shaped the world into what it has become. Without you, we would not be here today." Behind him, the screen lit up once more, displaying an inscription in bold golden letters: "To the warriors of time, from the first battle to the last." Grok, still shaken, still breathing hard, looked at his descendants. They looked back at him, their eyes filled with emotion. His descendants fought through the ages. And now, in the new modern age, the world honored him. His heart, old and weary, swelled with something deeper than pride. It was peace. Tomorrow would be good as well.
Well, the ending just kind of comes all sudden, but you know it's the ending when you know if he talks about it being a good day or the next day being a good day, because that's how Grok talks, or that's how Grok views the bottom line of things is it was a good day or it's going to be a good day, you know? I think we got to keep things simple sometimes, and I like those being the way the Grok stories end. But yeah, this reveals Grok's amazing identity, not just as the blood ancestor to all these warrior races, war cultures, and everything. He's the inventor of the first war. He he's like the guy who figured out fire or the wheel or some other invention of mankind. He just invented war a lot earlier than we thought it was invented because, well, I don't want to go into it too much without starting another story, but he would have had to have created war before not just modern warfare, but all forms of warfare. So it's kind of like the cart leading the horse on that one, I guess. But sometimes people have big ideas, you know? And so I like the idea that a caveman could see the atomic bomb and modern warfare and all of it and actually understand what he was looking at and basically realize that, ah, yes, this is the evolution of that thing that I thought of a long time ago. Basic concept, not so basic. But yeah, and I like that these these warriors of time, I like that they're not really violent. They're just enjoying the modern world and they aren't starting fights with each other. They're just appreciating things. And, you know, everybody has their time outside of war. It's not like everyone's just what they are. Not like, well, then you go to lots of warrior cultures where you have caste system and stuff like that, which a lot of these guys would be from, where through and through they are warriors, but hey, they're just getting what's good and enjoying some crazy futuristic sights and yeah, seeing this modern world that they helped create. And I think the modern world is just as interested in them. And so it's coming together of so many things. But this is just the Warriors out of time checking out a cool concert that was made for them. And what more can you ask for, right? It's fun stuff. Caveman screaming at heavy metal. Alrighty. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I wish you all the luck in the world. And I want you to remember that I love you. And this is Joseph Roszell, always thanking you for listening.